Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today. Surprise, surprise, yes it is a Matty Activision video. It has been a hot minute since I've given this company any attention on the channel. As a lot of you know, I used to make a ton of skits about Activision. Don't worry, that's still very much a thing. They just have to do something extra stupid to get a skit out of me now, because I'm really not surprised with half the stuff they do nowadays. Now today's less of a surprise factor and something stupid Activision did, and more so, as I read through the news, I realized the mainstream media had failed us yet again, this time not really mentioning common issues about Activision when it comes to monetization, loot boxes, microtransactions, what have you. And I thought that the information being presented for Modern Warfare about the lack of microtransactions and loot boxes seemed a tad misinformed. So I encourage you, as we go through this information, to read between the lines a little bit, to stay informed, because this is something that Activision's done in the past. So we're gonna go through everything, and I'll give my 2 cents at the end as to why I think this is a little fishy. Now this starts off with an article from IGN which states Infinity Ward's art director, their art director, which I'll talk about in the end why I think that's a weird choice, has made clear that the development team has no current plans to include a loot box or supply drop system. Keyword, current plans. Like I said, we're gonna be reading between the lines a lot here. Joel Emsley took to Reddit to clarify matters after a YouTuber and leaker claimed that Modern Warfare would include a microtransaction system where some weapons would be hidden behind a paywall. Now the reason this is of course a big deal is because I think people have come to expect Call of Duty to have their share of microtransactions. They're no stranger to monetization, but it was always cosmetics. And then in Black Ops 4, we started to see some guns get thrown into supply chests, and some of those guns actually ended up being pretty good. So now when we're seeing that carry over into Modern Warfare, it's one of those you give them an inch, they take a mile situations where people are trying to nip this problem in the butt, make sure that we don't have these weapons inside supply chests. Of course, if we could just not have these microtransactions at all, certainly Call of Duty is big enough, that would be great. Anyway, the tweet in question comes from the Gaming Revolution, who starts off by saying, who wants 300 plus emotes and supply drops? Who wants 500 plus titles? Who wants over 200 sprays in supply drops? Yeah. Weapons are coming too. Forget any cosmetic only malarkey. They are literally changing so much. They had a fair system with salvage and then they just remove it. I hope something changes by release, I swear. Now this was as of September 24th, 2019. So it has been quite a bit of time, and Infinity Ward did respond about 18 hours ago as I post this video. And what's strange about this is, like I said, this is coming from their art director, right? This is not like a monetization specialist. This is not a community manager. This is not an influencer manager. This is no one who works with the community. They direct the art for Modern Warfare. They are the one delivering the information, which, yes, they work in the studio. They know more than I, that is for sure. They know more than all of us. But to imagine that they know everything going on in the terms of monetization plans for Modern Warfare, that's really, really hard to believe. Anyway, let's read the Reddit post, which is titled Current Events. Sigh. There continues to be misinformed and incorrect info being pushed about Modern Warfare. What I can say right now, once again, keywords, reading between the lines, right now, is that we are definitely not working on any functional stuff is unlocked through gameplay. That's great to hear. Stay tuned, we're planning to release info this week. So if you're into Modern Warfare at all, know that you'll be getting plenty of new info on that game. Of course, my head's gonna be in the Outer Worlds, but I am looking forward to playing a bit of Modern Warfare, given how I've heard some really good things about the campaign. But once again, keywords in this Reddit post. What I can say right now is that we are not. Right now, at this moment in time. So it's protecting yourself inherently within the sentence. I'm saying it right now. So if loot boxes are added later, as in a month after launch, 2 months, 3 months after launch, then hey, no skin off my nose because I said right now, right? That's what I'm noting here. You gotta read the protections within the actual public statement. And the reason this is fishy is because it's not even just some random guy tweeting. It's also an actual report that people have physical evidence of. Once again, from IGN. In the after-action report for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, players found a space for common supply drop with the word loot box written on top of it. So it was jarring for some players to see the phrase appear randomly in the beta. Now, this isn't the first time that Joel Emsley has gotten involved on Reddit. He actually did post a very long write-up about the Spec Ops being exclusive to the PlayStation 4 for a year. I totally understand fans being upset and there being backlash, but I think Joel has a great point here. And this is where it does make sense that an art director or someone working on the game can step in. But for them to also talk monetization, it's like they're doing someone else's job, right? Like, this is a community manager's job to manage said community. That's at least my 2 cents on it. Anyway, like I said, loot boxes in the game. According to Joel now, art director at Infinity Ward for Modern Warfare, they are not going to be in the game, keyword, until Activision adds monetization after launch. And this has created a trend that we've started to see for reviewers such as myself, where I will have a game early access, I'll be completing it for review, maybe I'll sing the praises of how quality this product is, and then I'll be really happy with the reception. So some folks will actually go out and pick the game up, and rightfully so, based off mine and others' recommendations, until after launch we start to see monetization, loot boxes, etc. being added into the game. And so then you have viewers coming to people like myself going, hey man, you told me that this game was free of microtransactions and that everything was great. Now it's being heavily monetized. What gives? Why didn't you inform me? So it makes myself and other reviewers look very foolish for just reviewing the product that was given to us, because a lot of times we've seen in the past these types of loot boxes, monetization methods, time savers, whatever you want to call them, get patched in after the fact. And that becomes incredibly infuriating as a creator, because all you're doing is reporting on what's there right in front of you, accurately showing everything. There's not even a store tab or option, and suddenly, boom, there it is. Now, we've naturally seen the greed of Activision on display time in, time out. I mean, I've been covering this company pretty closely since 2016, so I have pretty good experience with seeing them do some outlandish stuff. Most recently, of course, being the beautiful situation happening with Activision Blizzard, where they will go very far for an extra couple of bucks in the pocket. And I'm sorry, but if a company who dehumanizes their consumers that much, if you're gonna believe that some art director's gonna hop on Reddit, tell you the monetization plans, when the beta, the actual product he's talking about that they hope that you will buy, had the term loot box being used in its progression system with a common supply drop rarity rating, you're kidding yourself if you think that's not going to be added in there. And some may argue, oh, it'll be added in, but we can get it through gameplay. That type of system is so ripe for monetization one way or another, whether it's 5 months, 6 months down the line, it's gonna happen. The difference though, and it always does occur, is that when it happens very late, most of the people who would care have already moved on. And that's the other reason why I'm saying Activision is taking you for a fool. If you care about Call of Duty, you love your Call of Duty, you play year in, year out, you grind that stuff, by all means, more power to you. No one's trying to take away your video game, but just know how this company views you. Just know how they look at you. That's what's wrong with gaming sometimes. Like, if you're gonna add it in, or there are plans to add it in, just tell us. Your Call of Duty, you know, nothing's gonna hurt you at the end of the day that badly, right? Like, you're not rallying up the YouTube crowd suddenly so much that, okay, this is really gonna hurt us if we end up revealing that there are microtransactions in the game. Modern Warfare is one of those games that I've seen consistently on my Twitter feed, my YouTube feed, surrounded with positive reception, positive coverage. And while I've not been the biggest fan of Modern Warfare, because I believe that it's a game that does a lot of things that other games do better, which is why I in turn haven't enjoyed it as much as other people, I still respect that folks are really excited for this game. And I think that's why you need to, once again, read between the lines. Activision sees the possibility of turnover, that they have the opportunity here to convert a lot of fans back into liking Call of Duty. And I'm not acting like making a good game's this big conspiracy theory. That's not what I'm going for here. But they identify that there is significant, widespread interest in Modern Warfare. And now they're gonna try to get you in, oh, we're playing the good guy here. We're not adding microtransactions. And just like with Black Ops 4, you can bet your dollar on it. Actually, no, save that dollar, right? Because Activision wants it, but you can guarantee they will add these loot boxes afterwards, because here's how they're gonna view it. Let's say 1 in every 5 people that comes in brand new to Call of Duty ends up sticking around, and one of those people buys a microtransaction, right? Whether it be a $2 loot box or a battle pass, something like that. That's why Activision wants to get you in the door. They want to have you open it up a little bit so that they can kick it down all the way and say, hey, look what we have to buy for you. It's just like getting someone into your storefront, right? That's all you want as a small business. You just want someone to give you a chance to come on in, because that could be a potential sale. And Activision is known to look at their consumers as money trees, right? We've seen how humane the Activision Blizzard situation has been handled, right? And do note my sarcasm, by the way. I think it's also a call to the mainstream media. As I went through every single one of these articles, no one mentioned that Black Ops 4 had microtransactions added in way after launch, and that the game became heavily monetized. It became grindy. And yes, there were many YouTubers who went ahead and started covering it, but why is it when we're seeing an art director tell us about the current state of monetization, we're gonna go ahead and bite onto that one? But no one's talking about, hey, when we look at the bigger picture here, this sounds like a load of crap, right? That's how I look at it. I don't want to sound like a jerk. I don't want to sound distasteful, but ultimately when I look at the large picture here, I can't help but scratch my head at why an art director would tell us about monetization, and in turn, we're going to forget that Black Ops 4 was monetized late. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't look right. And while I'm interested in Modern Warfare, I can't say a lot of what's happening here with monetization and microtransactions is really assuring. But at the end of the day, we've seen consumers pick the fun of the game over these menial issues, and I totally understand that. Most notably would be the Epic Games Store and Borderlands 3, where that game had no problem flying off the store shelves despite a lot more controversy happening before launch. So it probably gives these companies an invincible feeling, which, once again, if you're one of those people who votes with your wallet, then keep in mind that you may see Activision add something down the line. That'll conclude it for me, though. I've certainly gone on long enough. I'd love to hear from all of you. What do you think is going to happen with Modern Warfare? Fire away in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that, as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.